right. All gauges are green. Fuel. Half. Okay. Turning to the base now. Altitude 600, so I'm going to reduce drastically the collective. Picking up the carburetor is on. Rate of descent 700 feet per minute. Okay, now adding collective because I don't want to go no more down than that. I'm in 400 feet now in my gauge. 380. Speed 55. Looking in the flag. The wind turned a little bit, so I'm doing landing accordingly the flag. Okay, I'm going to do last time, and that's it. Taking off. Looking at the flag. Okay. That's it. I did permit myself to wave you because my collective, the spring, is picking up automatically and the friction is loose. So I didn't have to worry about when I leave for a second or 2 seconds the collective. So actually you have to play safe and not believe the collective or especially the cyclic unless it is safe. Cyclic of course you never leave. Okay. Speed is 80. Altitude 640, which is 500 feet above the hill. Okay. Using RPM. So it's a little bit above the green. Speed 70. Speed 65. This is going to be our last turn. That's it. And I'm inviting the cameraman to take the shot till he comes to the helicopter. Okay, we're doing it like a quick stop. Okay, going down. And the cameraman, his name is David Sela. He's going to come to the helicopter. Sit down here and we go to the home base, which is in Herzliya. Okay, collective all the way down. Carburetor is cold. Actually, it's supposed to put the carburetor cold before landing, and this is my mistake. All right. Hi, it's me again. It's a new day. It's our third day that we are doing this shot. The purpose for this is to bring up to people, especially to my son, that if you want to learn to fly helicopter, so you watch this, and by watching it, it will be much easier for him to get the license. This is, whatever you saw is not, and this is a warning, this is not a lesson, and this doesn't come in state flying, or let's say in state school flying school. This is just helping, just as additional. And all my advices, it's nothing guarantee about it. You got to go to certified school. And all what I bring you is my experience. Okay, let's continue. My name is David. I'm holding pilot license, American pilot license, commercial since 1992. I'm flying airplanes, fixed wing since 1970. And I would like to say to you that when you come in from fixed wing, it's a little, you have some privilege about it and you have some dangers about it. The dangers is the fixed wing pilot, when he come, he hear the stall going on, so immediately he pushing forward the stick. In a helicopter, we got to do exactly the opposite. We have to pull the stick. This way we get back the RPM, back to the... Cut. Okay, we have a little bit some difficulty about the voice. So it's because we have some, home-built, those toys, remote control flying airplanes. All right, let's continue. Okay, fixed wing airplane pilot. The dangers for him is when he come in, his habit to push forward the stick, and when he come to a stall accidentally. And over here, you gotta do the opposite. You gotta do pulling the stick, and at the same time putting down the collective all the way down, and then the second step, you put the cyclic forward to gain speed and to get out of those low RPM situation. The cyclic, you don't push forward, you just release it a little bit, little by little. About pushing forward the cyclic, there's one dangerous things here, which we call it low G. Low G. Low G is mean our weight become to zero or below zero, or less what we are waiting. And this happen when we are, let's say, flying up, and all of a sudden you want to go forward or reduce the climbing. All of a sudden, at once. When you do that at once, the helicopter, like if he was in position of flying up, this position, and all of a sudden you want to go this way, and this was the helicopter, you want to continue. You want to continue going up, and he can't do it, so your body going up instead, and then you feel that you don't have no weight on your back, on your where you're sitting on. This is the way you are feeling the low weight. Low weight is very dangerous because when you have this, there's nothing which hold the helicopter from here up. When there's nothing holding him up, pulling him up, he can turn and lose his balance, and he can fall down like a stone, and you lose the control without a way to get out of it. We are actually falling to the right and twisting to the right, and the reason it's happened to the right, it's probably because when this happens, usually the nose is down. When the nose is down and the tail is up and pushing air that direction, it makes us to fall to the opposite direction, to this side. So you got to be careful. To get out of it, you should do opposite what you have done. You when it's happened to you because you push forward, all you gotta do, you pull backward, quickly, but firmly, as opposite what you have done. Then you try to straight up yourself to the left. Actually, when you do so, it will automatically will take you also back to your place. You might have to help him a little bit more. This exercise, actually, you never try without instructor, because you might kill yourself. They can make only one mistake in your life. Once, and that's it. You won't be alive anymore. This is about the low weight, difference between fixed-wing pilot and helicopter pilot as far as the stall. When it happens stall, in our place there's no stall. In our helicopter, in helicopter situation is low RPM. When you're losing the RPM below the safe speed, which is about 80%. But the on is going to go on when we are in 87%. It used to be 86 or 85% before, but after the FAA suggests, probably to Robinson Company, I'm not familiar with this, they find out that we have more time to react when you have the on going on 97% instead of 95 or 96%. Okay, we continue, and we would like to speak about safety. Safety. The most dangerous for a pilot, helicopter pilot, is what's happening with the tail rotor. Tail rotor, we have one problem with the tail rotor. Let's say from the very beginning. We have 160 horsepower in the helicopter. We usually use it about 25.2 inches the most. It has a continuous power no more than 5 minutes, and this is bringing up as about 130 horsepower. And we have spare of 30 horsepower which we are not using. If we will use it, then the engine will be able to go to 2,000 hours. Then you might gonna need overall less, maybe 700, maybe 1,000 hours, or as your luck go on. So to keep it 25.2, it is actually for your benefit. Now, for emergency, you can use the all power you have available, which you can go as much as you can pull up the collective, but you got to do it slowly, slowly, slowly. If you do it over at once, what's going to happen, what the limit of that helicopter is, the tail rotor is behind, his reaction is behind to even the reaction of the main rotor. The main rotor, when it turns this way, so the opposite of this way, the tail one will go that way. So again, the collective going this way. So the opposite reaction is the tail want to go this way. That's why the tail pushing air to that direction, and by that he bring up himself, the whole helicopter, equal to the vector which react, create by the main rotor. Now, what's happening with losing effect of tail rotor? It's happen. The situation can be for few reasons and few situations. First one, and let's say you want to go from hovering, you want to go over sudden to full power. You don't want to go 25.2. You want to go to whatever you get, 28, 29, 30 inches, whatever you can get. When you do so at once, the tail rotor wouldn't give you the support to equal the vector which created by the main rotor. The main rotor will pull you to this direction because it turned this way, and the air that he pushing, the tail rotor pushing that direction, is not enough. He's behind to do that job. So what you got to do, you got to do it slowly and firmly till you get the maximum inches manifold pressure in your instrument. Okay, so you got, and now when it happened to you, when you pull the collective all up all of a sudden at once, you take it to the right, you should do to recover it this mistake and this losing control. You're gonna lose the control. You might start getting twisting to the right without be able to stop it, because the tail rotor will go into the turbulence which is created, and then you're going to a stall tail rotor situation. Stall tail rotor situation, you wouldn't be able to get out of it. You're going to be like a cat running after his tail. So before you go to that situation, to that stall of tail rotor, right away, put back the collective, reduce the collective. If you don't have enough altitude, so do it as much as you can till you go close to the ground, as much as you can. And also you gotta change a little bit the power. What you gotta do, you gotta reduce the power. Why you reduce the power? Because when you reduce the power, the helicopter want to go to the left. That's why, for example, when you are entering auto rotation, when you push down the collector all the way down, the helicopter want to go to the right. To the left. Then you give almost full right pedal. So if it won't help you by putting the collective down to go back straight in as you was, again, it's happened to you because you pull too much power with the collective, then reduce a little bit also the collective. When you be straight, then slowly come down to the ground and start all over again. And this is good maybe to try once, but don't do it in future time, because you might be not as good as pilot as supposed to, as you have to, and you might kill yourself. So don't fool around. And now, again, about the tail rotor. You got to be careful when you're turning to the right, even when you're hovering. If you're turning to the right very in high speed, let's say, I don't know, many turns per minute, the tail rotor might go to a stall, and it will go. You lose the effect of the tail rotor, because the tail rotor, when you turn this way, the tail rotor running into the turbulence which is just created, and then over there is not air to. There's no air pressure to push to go back to your place, because you are going to an empty area. So you got to be careful when you make it right. Now, tail rotor also, you're losing its effect when you go to high altitude and in low speed. When you go to high altitude in an area which out of ground effect, you can see it in the book. When you go in out of ground effect, let's say you're flying and you are talking to your friend and you forgot that you got out of speed, you got to zero speed. You got a zero speed, the air up there very high, let's say 2,500 feet height above the sea, and the temperature, let's say standard temperature, 15 Celsius in the sea level. You might again lose the tail rotor effect, because the air up there is very thin, and the helicopter, the tail rotor, the air pushing that direction wouldn't be sufficient to stop the reaction what doing to the helicopter, the main rotor. So when when you come to this situation, you're going to see, you find yourself no speed, and you find yourself with full foot almost, or maybe full foot to the left, and you're still not turning to the left. You're still flying. You're standing straight. And if you're going higher, where is more thinner area, or let's say you give more power, then you lose. Then the tail rotor will come to insufficient power to overreact what's doing to us the tail rotor, the main rotor. Then you're going to see you're going to start making right. Even your full leg is all the way in. In that situation, do not wait till you go see yourself 180 back. Then from this situation, you're going to start turning to the right with losing control on the helicopter, because the tail rotor standing over going to be again in the situation of losing its effect by going into the tail rotor stall. Okay, so you got to react before. When you see the helicopter want to take to the right, you put full left, it doesn't help you. Full left pedal doesn't help you. All you got to do, reduce power. You reduce power, the main rotor will stop. Is must to go to work on the tail rotor, and also less power have to be by the tail to work, to do the job, because actually the tail rotor do the job in any case in the same power. How come? You have a 100% RPM, and we have full pedal. All you got when you only reduce the main rotor power, which is showing the manifold pressure, you become okay. So actually you reduce the collective, and by reducing the power, you are, and also as happened when I explained before, on the when you are hovering, and remember when we say that you are putting over sudden the collective and you put it back, or either you reduce the throttle, you do the same over here. You reduce the collective. If it doesn't go straight, you reduce throttle. Doesn't go straight, you put the collective all the way down, inter, auto rotation, and this will get you out of it. So you gotta remember, this is very dangerous. The main dangerous things for us is in helicopter is the limitation of the tail rotor. There was two big helicopters with twin engine come to the situation of losing tail rotor effect by hovering in a high altitude, and didn't help him that they have two engines. It even become worse for them, because you have more power what can create more power on the main rotor, and there's not enough power. There is no enough pushing air opposite direction from the tail. Then you go to that problem. So you got to react immediately. Otherwise, you find yourself twisting this way and going down to the ground. Okay, you might don't kill yourself, but you break the aircraft and you might get injured. Okay, this is about the tail rotor. We got to remember this, and we gonna look for other things. Meantime, let's take a break. Right, to continue, we have a break, and we would like to say some more things about the different with the helicopter pilot and the fixed-wing pilot. You got to remember that it's going to be very dangerous to fixed-wing pilot when he starts flying helicopter. You come here close, I will explain you what it is. And fixed-wing airplane and a very high altitude, we are trying with the mixture lean, we are trying to save gas consumption, fuel consumption, you know. So what are we doing? We are pulling this a little bit in fixed wing till we see the best RPM we're getting in the propeller. Okay? And the best RPM we're doing by this in a fixed wing. But, and if we see it's become worse, then we go back a little bit, then we'll be the optimal, we'll see the optimal, the best RPM in the propeller, in the prop, then we leave it that way. We're going higher, you might go need a little bit to push a little bit, to pull up. In helicopter, you're not playing with this. You get killed by doing so. You don't touch this, that's why in red color over here, and this you keep it all the way down. Why are you not using it in helicopter? Because by playing with this, if you pull too much, you might gonna have too lean of gas going into the carburetor, and then you lose the engine. And if you don't have altitude enough, let's say you are not good pilot, you are not good maneuvering with auto rotation, or let's say you're doing auto rotation, but you're good in auto rotation, but you are in above city. Or let's say you don't have enough altitude to get out of it, so you might get killed by playing with this. So this is out for helicopter to lean the gas and high altitude. This we're using in helicopter just to shut off the engine by putting all the way up. That's it. You don't fool around with this. Now there's another thing which it can happen to a pilot, which they got nothing to do with fixed wing. When you are taking off from the ground, it might happen to you that you forget to open this knob. This knob over here, actually, in my opinion, should be also painted in red, because a student pilot, when you get a first solo flight or a cross-country flight, they might forget this on. And they didn't realize that, because they'll be able to take off, to hover, and then they will be able to continue flying the airplane and not even to go down. And they might get crashed from hovering. I'm telling you this, it's because this happened to me when I was a student in Florida, and I took off, and I saw this is luck, I forgot it on, tight. So I was lucky, I was good in, landing with rolling landing. So I did rolling landing on the runway while I'm running on the ground, and that way I got out of it, and then I released it, and then I start my flying again. So you got to be careful with this. Now we continue to talk about low G. Low G can happen to you in any altitude. It happened to me when I was a student in solo flight, so I have a little bit over confidence. I have too much confidence. So when I come to land into the runway, so I was playing like I'm fixed wing. So I come that way, and all of a sudden I put the nose down. All of a sudden I put the nose down, I start to forget flick to the right. Okay? So since I have more experience with a fixed wing, home-built airplane, which he has a very big engine to compare related to his weight, and it was taking me to the right each time I was pushing forward the stick, so I had experience with it. So what I've done, I pull it back to this direction to me, and I got out of it. So, and then I start put it back, release it slowly but slowly, and I got out of it, and I land safely. So remember, you have too much confidence is no good. You gotta play, you gotta fly all the time like you are in danger situation. All the time you gotta think. What you gotta do? You gotta think that you are not doing abrupt maneuvers, especially in helicopter. You don't do no abrupt maneuvers, because abrupt maneuvers, you get a reaction to the other direction, and you get confused what's happening to you. You say, what's happened? I'm pushing forward, and I'm going to the right. I never did that. Then you try to straight the right to the left. This is not the way. You got to do the opposite what you've done, whatever brings you to that situation. If bring you to that situation, pull a turn to the right, twisting to the right, yeah? You got to, by pushing forward, you got to pull it backward. Actually, you never play with low G. You never play, you're not experienced. You want to experience low G, go to fixed-wing airplane. You fly with fixed-wing airplane, climb up, and all of a sudden put the nose down. Then you see your head going to the cockpit above on the ceiling of the airplane. Then you know what is a low G. So when you feel you don't have no weight on your ass, that means you are in a low G. You just got to realize when the low weight starts. Not when you don't have it anymore and you start, איך אומרים לרחף באוויר? בואנה. לרחף. You start hover. לא כמו חללית. את זה. אז צלם. Okay, now we continue. So low G is very, very dangerous situation. You might get killed by getting into this situation. So you got to learn what is low G. And the low G is actually when you're going, change direction from up to straight or from up to down. So, and you have speed. So don't do so. Don't do so. If you go backward, all of a sudden, you're allowed to do so, but not forward. So remember, you never push forward the stick, and you have a sign here which say so, and say, do not push forward the stick, abrupt pushing the stick, okay? So actually, you're getting help by looking in all those safety notice. You gotta pay attention to this. And I got to tell you that we have very safe and very good aircraft. Robinson 22 can be better, can be others. And actually, if you love the aircraft and you don't fool around with it, you don't do abrupt maneuvers, you're flying according to the rules, and you're flying the gas, you have enough gas, you check pre-flight very well before you're flying, and before you do takeoff from the ground to have a position, you got to do everything by the checklist, okay? You take checklist, and you do, some people have checklist very, very details, very much details. It's not mine, and some pilots have other checklist, let's say like this, okay? So, especially pilots in flying once a week or once every 2 weeks, they should go by the checklist every time before they do the takeoff and before shut off and all other things. Now, regarding the temperature and all those things, actually, we learn this at school, watching this in the beginning, and later on we don't pay attention and we don't go by that. All we got to do is see what is your weight, what is your passenger weight, and by experience, you know, if you have high weight passenger, you won't be able to do certain maneuvers with the aircraft. It'll be very hard for you to take off, and you gotta do the takeoff by running parallel to the ground, by helping by the ground effect. Then when you are gonna have the lift by the lift which you're getting by the speed, then you'll be able to do the takeoff. We call it translation of lift. So where we're heavy, we must do the takeoff by get help by the translation of lift, as I said. And if you're still heavy when you come in to landing, so you gotta come first close to the runway and hover with speed before you do the full stop, because you're going to need again the ground effect before you're losing the translation of lift, which this creates only above 15 miles per hour of speed. Okay? So when you are heavy, you must keep the speed even when you are landing. You can't come by hovering with a high altitude and start going down, because if you are heavy, you won't be able to do so, and when you stopping your speed, you might start sinking, and you're going to try to stop it by pulling the collective, and then you're going to get into settling with power, which is, again, your aircraft, the helicopter, starts sinking and going into the turbulence of the main rotor, which just creates, and you keep sinking, and you won't be able to get out of it. So you got to remember, when you are heavy, keep the speed up before you do the landing. Okay? And when you are high altitude, also you should keep the speed up, because if you stop the speed, you might go also to settling with power, and you won't be able to get out of it. One pilot told me, he was instructor pilot, that he lost 1,500 feet before he got out of settling with power. So you got to be careful and don't fool around with those things. You got to exercise with the flight school, and don't get too overconfident, because in helicopter, you never be good enough. You always have to learn, you always have to watch up and to be careful. Let's say one more thing I want to tell you is, let's see. Okay, cut. Actually, it's good to come with the speed when you come to landing, okay? So you sink down into the ground effect area, which is the height is about the length of the rotor, main rotor. This is the ground effect. As much as you go lower, the ground effect is better, and you should come always with speed, and doesn't matter if you come to like a quick stop maneuver each time you come to landing. So it's good for you, and this is all about many places. They don't check when you do a 100-hour check. They don't. The mechanic not cleaning that filter, oil filter, cooling oil filter, cooling oil radiator. Sorry, and you gotta watch this also to make sure they are doing it. And let's see what else is important for you. All right. Okay, all the rest you learn from the book. Okay, you learn from the book. You watch very well. You should learn the shaded area. The shaded area teaching you a lot. What altitude, what kind of speed you're gonna have. You're gonna need to get alive instead of losing your engine. So it's a lot of fun to look into it. I want to show you how it looks like. Take a look over here. אתה רואה את זה? This we call it shaded area. The shaded area is over here. So this means when you are on 650 feet height, you can go even at zero speed, and you can go be success in auto rotation from here, 650 feet, even with zero speed. Let's say you are over here, for example, over here. Let's say you'll be here. Okay, over here, you must have over here at least 35 miles an hour to be in 250 feet height to be success in auto rotation. You see, you go down here, you see 35 miles an hour over here. You go up over here, then you go to the left, and you see you got to be at least in 250 feet height in altitude, yeah? to be success, to get out from situation of losing engine by using auto rotation. This is very important. So actually, each time you're flying, you got to remember every minute where the wind, from where